welcome to another video here on my channel Healthy Rain. Today I wanted to talk about my current favourites, and this is everything magical that I have been enjoying currently. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was my olive tree. So some of you might know I recently moved to a new property and I have an amazingly overgrown garden that I'm constantly discovering new things in. And one of the new things that I have is a olive tree. Originally I wasn't too excited about this just as I don't particularly like olives. It's a pretty tree, so I'm grateful to have it, and of course I'm gonna allow it to stay, and I'm grateful for it. But it wasn't until recently when I was crafting together a new spell for myself, and this was one actually related to nightmares. I've been struggling with nightmares all of my life, and I really just wanted to face this. I knew that I wanted to craft a spell for it. So this is a 3-week working, which I'm just over a week into, and it's working so well. So if you are struggling with nightmares and you would like me to share the spell that I crafted for this, then do let me know, and I'd love to talk about that. I will talk about that once the 3 weeks is up, but just over a week in and it's going perfectly, so very grateful for that. And the main component that I used in this spell was the olive tree. So I picked some olive branches and I used it in my spell work, and oh my god, what a beautiful plant to work with. If you've ever worked with olive branches, olive leaves, you'll know what I mean. They radiate peace. With my research, it made so much sense with the feelings that I was having during the working. So it was so peaceful, really powerful. Like, you would think it would have a subtle energy, but it doesn't. It has a very powerful energy when you're working it within your magic and working it within spells. So definitely my biggest current favorite when it comes to herbs and plants has to be the olive tree. I will definitely show you some clips of that now, the beautiful tree, and I'll show you the wreath that I made for my spell, and also I used it in a jar.
I came out here to film the olive tree, and there's these wild kittens living in our barn. Like, how cute are they? Hey cuties! Part of my spell involved my new home, so if you can see here on my front door, mind the washing, I've left this olive branch wreath that I made. And I'll go into more details about the spell if I do end up doing a video about this dream spell, this nightmare spell. It was much neater when it was made originally, but it's a week and a half old now. My resins and... Okay, so right opposite my front door is the olive tree. There she is. Beautiful.
The next current fave that I want to talk about is a book, and obviously I want it to be related to witchcraft or metaphysical subjects, and it is. So this one is called How to Read the Akashic Records by Linda Howe, and I've had this book. I think I purchased it in 2018 when I had a strong calling from spirit that I need to start learning to read the Akashic Records. At this time I was running my restaurant and I was very distracted, very busy, and I wasn't able to really dive in deep. I'd made all these notes, so if you see, these are all notes that I made when I originally got it. I read the book and I didn't proceed with it. I didn't continue with its teachings. But ever since then, it's continued to come up in readings. When I've had readings from other people, they've asked me, like, your guides are asking you to read the Akashic records, and it's always coming up for me. And finally, when I was unpacking and I came across this book, I knew I need to do this now. I really need to listen to that message. And I'm sure you've all been there. You've all been told by Spirit certain things that you're being guided to do, practices or whatnot, and you sort of put it to a back burner, and the right time eventually comes. And for me, that is now. So I've been rereading this book, and I've actually begun opening my records, and I really look forward to continuing with this and hopefully going beyond my own records, reading for other people, reading for places, animals, properties. I'm really excited, and I do think this is a brilliant book. So if you are interested in reading the Akashic records, I highly recommend this book, but also you might be more drawn to an Akashic teacher who is currently still teaching a course. I like to do things in my own time, and I have a lot of 7 energy in my numerology chart, so I like to be self-taught. I like to learn by myself mostly. That's very 7 energy, and if you have that kind of energy about you, you like to be self-taught, then I highly recommend this book. Linda Howe was actually one of the first people to speak on the Akashic records and start teaching it to others. If you're going to learn from anyone, like, she's definitely one of the best. And yeah, loving this book. So I just had to go fish this out from my bookshelf behind me, my deck shelf, my everything shelf basically, and this is a deck that, since I unpacked it, since I moved here, so this one has, I think I actually had it when I was traveling, and I've always loved the deck, but I've really been drawn to it since I've been moved here, and I don't know whether it's because I'm feeling more connected with nature than ever, living in the middle of nature now, with mountain views, surrounded by forest. So I am really resonating with this deck, which is the Earth Magic deck, and this one is by Stephen D. Farmer, and it is such a beautiful deck. So these are the backs, and it just has these images like forest and then a keyword, breath, meadow. So yeah, definitely loving this deck so much. I've been using it so much since I've been here, and particularly in the first 3 weeks that I was here. So I was really using this deck a lot and getting some really clear, deep messages from it. The guidebook is pretty good too, not too big, but definitely gives you enough on each card. I don't even use the book every single time that I pull a card from here. I find that the image often gives me enough, like island, solitude, and then you can really sink into that image, pull from your intuition, which is always my favorite kind of deck. I always love decks where I can pull from my intuition. My next current favorite is, weirdly, my first ever Rider-Waite deck. It was, I believe, my second ever tarot deck. It was my first one. My first one's quite cute. This was my first ever deck, which I'm often not pulled back to. I got it from sort of a gift store. Super tiny. My original one of this deck I lended to a friend and never got back, so I hunted it down and managed to get another copy, because obviously this was a real breakthrough for me, finding that connection again with being a witch, with my past lives of being a witch, and my natural gifts that I've carried on through to this life. Even though I don't use this first deck that I have very rarely, it's more like sentimental for me to keep that. But the deck that really got me connected with those roots, with those deep knowings that I've carried on through lifetimes, was the Rider-Waite. And my first ever Rider-Waite deck was this, and I know that a lot of people don't love this version of the Rider-Waite because it's very it's not very aesthetically pleasing. The colours are a bit brass. I totally get it. And I have a few different versions of the Rider-Waite. I'll just grab those now. So I also have the giant Rider-Waite deck, which you can see is a lot bigger than the original, that I keep in this bag. It's got these nice classic tartan backs, and the images are really good and clear. So if you really want to dive into working with them, I do recommend the giant version. And the colours in this are a lot more appealing. They're more muted but bright, whereas the colours in this are very dull but yellowy toned, which I can see why a lot of people don't love it. This is the box that comes with the original deck that I had. The original Rider-Waite Tarot deck. And yeah, these are the backs that it comes with. The other Rider-Waite deck that I have, which is my favourite when it comes to how aesthetically pleasing I find it. The colours are just beautiful. It's a really well done Rider-Waite deck. It's got a lot of depth to the image just from the change of the colours. And it's got a cute box, and I love the backs. So this is what that deck looks like. The backs are like that, and you can just see how much more appealing and luscious those colours are in this deck. This cardstock though is a little thicker than my liking, but it's got that quality to it where you know it's going to last. These are kind of classic cardstock, but for some reason it's in my current favourites. This old, dusty, unloved by the masses Rider-Waite edition, and God knows why, but it's the only tarot deck that I've really been working with since I moved here to my new property in France. I just get such clear messages from it. It shuffles like butter. I love it. A part of me, that aesthetically pleasing part of me, really wants to be using this one, which I will. I know I will craft out time to go back to working with this, as I do with most of my decks. I dedicate certain time periods to them, but I'm going with what feels right, what I feel naturally drawn to, and every time it's been this old baby. So I'm always very grateful to it. She's very dirty and well used, and that's because this is the deck that brought me back to who I am. This is the deck that really made me fall back in love with the Rider-Waite images, which I know many lifetimes I have worked with these images. There's a deep intuitive knowledge that came alive when I first got this deck, and I'll always have so much love and appreciation for this deck, and I will keep it forever. Even if I buy all these other replacements for the Rider-Waite deck, this will always hold a space in my heart, and it's definitely come back to me. I've been using it a lot lately, so yeah, loving this old original Rider-Waite. So teas, I'll just briefly talk on my favourite tea at the moment, and that is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, is Rubios tea. So I will put a clip in of the exact tea and brand that I've been loving, but it's just a classic red bush tea. It's delicious, it's caffeine free. I like it with a dash of soy milk, and it's really calming and just really delicious. To me, it has a similar taste to English breakfast tea, but it's not got the caffeine, so I can have it at night. I just find it really cozy, really warming, and it's a perfect full tea for me. Just feels so comforting at this time of the year. I am loving it. This is the Rubios brand. Another one of my current favorites is the number 8. I'm never saw myself saying this and becoming such a fan of the number 8. It's not even in my top 5 favorite numbers when it comes to numerology. I have a lot of respect for the number 8, but now I am loving it. I'm wearing 8 makeup today. So if you see, I don't know if you can really see, but I have 3 dots on each side, making 6, and then 1 on each on the inside of my eyes, making 8. And I just find this has been working so well for me within my glamour magic. So I've been so busy needing to get a lot of stuff done in the house, a lot of work, a lot of hard work and big intentions, trying to bring big visions to life, and that takes a lot of work and commitment. And the perfect number I found for that, for me personally, has been 8. So really building upon a foundation, the house is the 4, number 4, I have that foundation, but now I want to make that high rise. I want to build above that. I want to create my perfect dream vision on top of my steady 4 foundation, and 8 is that number. It's worked out perfectly for me. I'm loving working with it. I still use 6 a lot in my glamour magic because I'm always currently working on the self-love and being able to nurture the self and others. But lately, since moving here, I've found that I've been shifting more to 8 energy on the regular. So really enjoying the 8 energy. I was actually born on an 8 day. I was born on the 26th of July. So that's an 8 day. So I feel like it also works really well with me in that sense. Highly recommend 8, really loving 8 right now. Power moves being made with that 8 energy. And I did want to touch on, with my glamour magic video, so it's combining numerology with glamour magic, but you don't have to stop there. If you're not into makeup, you can use the numerology numbers in so many magical practices, even things like today I'm wearing 3 rings. I intentionally wear those 3 rings today because I want to also bring in creativity. So you can use glamour magic not just within makeup, but within accessories and jewelry, but also within your spell work. Really thinking about numbers that you use in your spell work. For example, a part of my nightmare spell that I recently done is I've done a wreath, but I've also done a jar, and the jar is to be shaken 3 times every night before I fall to sleep. 3 times, because 3 is that first number of creation. Think of the Empress, creation. You have 2 creates 3, so I'm trying to bring in and create this inner peace to my subconscious, this peace into my dream world, into my astral space. So 3 is a number that I use for that, so you can also use it in your spell work. How many candles are you lighting for your spell work? How many times are you shaking your jar if you're working with jars? There's so many ways you can bring numerology into your magic, and it's not just glamour. So if you did watch that video and you was thinking, I'm not keen to use it within my makeup, there's many ways within your magical craftings that you can use numerology, and I highly recommend it. The numbers are so powerful. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about a current favorite YouTuber that I've been enjoying. And she is more in a sort of spiritual starseed realm of YouTube. The name of her channel is called Adventures Across. She's called Ashley, and I adore her. I adore her channel. I always make sure I watch all her videos. I am pretty much a silent watcher, as I am with most people these days. I'm watching your videos, guys, but I'm not always commenting because I'm watching them as I'm doing stuff, and it's difficult for me to stop what I'm doing and then go leave a comment. But I have been enjoying everyone's content still. I know it looks like I'm not as involved in the community as I was, but trust me, I'm still loving your videos. I adore you guys so much, and whenever I am sitting down and I'm able to comment, I always do, but most of the time I'm watching and I'm not commenting, so I'm becoming one of those creepy silent viewers, which is all good because I'm still watching and loving the content. Please check out Adventures Across. I don't know her or anything, I just follow her, and she might not be a part of the witchcraft, the tarot community, but if you resonate with the starseed message, which I do, I've been getting a lot of messages from spirit about that, and she happens to speak a lot on those subjects, and she talks from foraging, connecting with guides, astral projection. She covers a lot, and she's very about the nature beings and the connection with nature, which I relate to a lot. That's a massive part of my practice. It's where I get most comfort. It's where I feel the strongest connection. So please do check out Ashley's channel if you're interested in that, because I've been loving her channel, and I think if you're interested in those subjects, you will too. So that is everything for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I am recording on my old camera, not my phone. I've been having major issues with the internet here in the rural France, from my research. I don't know if it's going to get any better, and I'm praying it will. But yeah, that might present a few problems with me and the work I'm planning to do online now and in the future. It's really something I'm hoping I can get sorted. But I filmed a huge long house tour video and I can't upload it for the life of me. So it's a long video and this internet here is not having it. So I will have to figure that stuff out. But for now, I'm just going to try and keep my videos short. I'm going to try film on my camera, so I hope it sounds and looks okay enough for that long, boring story. But just know that I'm trying my best, and if I'm a bit late with posting videos, I'm not gone anywhere, it will be the internet issue. So hopefully I will get that house tour out to you guys soon, because we're starting now with the renovations, so I would like to get that out before too much change has happened here. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I wish you guys a magical day. Bye.